So I love to read books, but I don't always have the time to read a book in full. And when I don't have the time to read a book in full, or I want to better understand what I'm reading, I like to use book guides. And when it comes to book guides, I like to use Shortform. So Shortform provides you with access to high quality book guides, and their book guides take the key concepts from non-fiction books and explain them in easy to understand ways. And their analysis helps you to understand what you're reading in more detail. And I really like their actionable notes and exercises that they provide. In my role as an HR professional, I'm often asked for book recommendations on management and leadership, productivity and psychology, which, as you can see, are some of the many categories that Shortform covers. And they also have an iPhone app, which makes reading on the go so much easier. So the leaders and employees that I work with sometimes struggle to find the time to truly understand and apply what they are reading, and that's what makes Shortform so useful. I actually used Shortform to prepare for this video. Their book guide on the 7 habits of highly effective people provided me with some insights and analysis that I wouldn't have necessarily come up with by myself. Their notes on the book provided linkages to concepts and ideas which expanded on the original text. Shortform adds a new book guide and article every week, and if you subscribe, you're able to vote on what books you think should be covered. If you'd like to get a 5-day free trial, make sure you join using my special link, which I've included in the description. Recently, I had the opportunity to complete the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People 2-day live training course. The course takes the core principles from the book by the same name and develops them into learning activities that you work on as part of your training cohort. If you are an HR practitioner and you're looking for a course that will help your organization's employees, I highly recommend that you become an accredited facilitator and add it to your organization's training curriculum. Each participant receives a workbook, which you can see on the screen now. They also receive a set of skill cards and a training contract, which they can use to keep the content alive after the course finishes. They also receive a set of practice cards, which I'm using as part of my daily routine, which I'll show you shortly. In case you're not familiar with the book or the course, the 7 habits are: be proactive, begin with the end in mind, put first things first, think win-win, seek first to understand, then to be understood, synergize, and sharpen the saw. In this video, I wanted to show you how I am making habit 7, sharpen the saw, a part of my everyday life and the app that is enabling me to do so. Okay, so I wanted to spend some time talking about habit 7, sharpen the saw, which is integral to all of the other habits. And habit 7 is about daily renewal. The idea is that you spend some time each and every day doing something for yourself according to 4 key dimensions, which are body, mind, heart, and spirit. And the idea is that you do something where you give yourself a personal, private victory that will give you the strength to achieve a public victory later. So what you're seeing on the screen right now is my home screen. Recently I read an article about redesigning your home screen to make your phone work for you as opposed to the other way around. It's really changed how I use my phone. The biggest idea that I've had is, from the article, is to put your screen time on your home screen. It's a little bit unusually high for me today because I've been using it to do screen records. I've been making lots of mistakes, and so I've been having to redo it. So that's why it's quite high, but highly recommend that you have a look at the article, which I'll include in the description. So I wanted to take you through the app called Streaks, which you'll see throughout the video as it progresses. But I wanted to just explain how I'm using it so that you get a bit of an overview. I've put all the different things that I'm trying to do in the app according to the 4 different dimensions, which are body, heart, mind, and spirit. You'll note that there are about 15 things there, which may seem like a lot, but I'm able to achieve a lot of them prior to getting to work every morning. And in the future, I might reduce them, but at this stage, they're really giving me a lot of benefit, and they're really helping me to be more effective and more grounded and more rounded as a person. Just a quick overview of the app. It's really nice to use. I think it has a really nice user interface. You can tap here to see how many times you have done the habit, and as the name implies, you're aiming to get streaks. So I can see here for this one, waking up at 5:30 every day. My best streak was 25 days in a row, or 26 days in a row, and I'm currently on 25. And the way to record when you achieve one of the habits, it's really nice. You just hold down the habit and then it gives you that nice sound. So you can scroll through and see all the different habits that you're working on, and it's really easy to keep track of things. What I'll be doing in this video is showing you my current daily routine and regimen, and I'm hoping that it gives you some ideas that you can use to build your own. If there is something that you do to sharpen the saw on a daily basis, and you feel comfortable sharing, make sure you drop a comment down below, because then we can all kind of learn from each other. I hope you enjoy it. Thanks again for taking the time to watch. This is how I am sharpening the saw on a daily basis. Recently I bought a HomePod Mini, which I use as my alarm clock. I keep it in my bathroom with my phone. I get up at 5:30 every day, and that's the first habit I check off in streaks. There's something really nice about being able to check something off so soon after waking up. I weigh myself every day, which I realize is somewhat controversial, but it's what works for me. I like data, and that's how I treat my body weight. It's just another piece of data that I can use to better understand myself. From there, I get dressed. I get my exercise clothes ready the night before, which I find makes me more likely to exercise in the mornings because it's one less thing that I have to think about. My first meal of the day is a protein shake, and I have the same shake every morning, and I make it the night before, which are two easy ways to help me save time in the morning. At the moment, I'm tracking my macros, and I won't have enough time in this video to cover nutrition extensively, but if you are interested in how I eat, let me know in the comments section. At a high level, it involves measuring and tracking your food and trying to hit certain targets throughout the day. After I finish my protein shake, it's coffee time. I like pour over filter coffee. I sometimes use a AeroPress, sometimes I use a Chemex, and lately I've been using a V60. Whilst this might look a bit elaborate or like a complicated process, it's really not. It doesn't take very long, it makes great coffee, and it's a nice relaxing way to start my day. If you haven't tried filter coffee, I highly recommend that you give it a go. Once I have my coffee, I like to spend some time journaling. I use a great app called Day One. And lately I've been spending a lot of time reviewing the 7 Habits practice cards, and each morning I spend some time writing a journal entry reflecting on one of the cards. By this time, it's probably only about 5:45, and I've already been able to check off 2 habits in my Streaks app.
Hi guys, welcome. This is a guided breathing session.
The voice you're hearing right now belongs to Wim Hof, who Wikipedia describes as a Dutch motivational speaker, noted for his ability to withstand freezing temperatures. He has a guided breathing video, which I do pretty much every day. I think some people overlook the spiritual dimension because they are not religious, but I think that everyone needs a way to renew themselves spiritually, a way that they can center themselves and align to a value system. My value system comes from the Bible, but you might have something else that you draw strength from. Either way, I find this breathing video is a great way to help me focus and de-stress. Once I finish the 10-minute breathwork session, it's almost 6 o'clock, so I head into the gym. I have a pretty standard stretching routine, which I've cobbled together over the years based on things that I've seen online and advice from different physios. I used to think that if I couldn't do a full hour of exercise, then I wouldn't do any at all, but now I try to do a little bit, even if it's just 15 minutes on the bike or a quick walk around the block. Sometimes I'll read my Kindle whilst I'm riding, which allows me to tick off 2 habits at once. What bar? If I have the full hour to exercise, I generally focus on body weight movements, but I also do some Olympic lifting and compound lifts as well. I don't do a lot of cardio. I generally stick to high intensity interval training and the occasional CrossFit workout. During the workout, I'll finish my first bottle of water for the day, and you guessed it, I'll record it in streaks. So I've just finished my workout and packed everything up. Normally during the week I finish right on 7 o'clock, so I jam a lot into that hour and a half, but it's a Saturday today, and so I don't have anything to do, so I took my time, and it actually took a lot longer to film everything that you just saw than I thought it would. But during the week, I'm able to achieve a lot of personal private victories before 7 o'clock, so just in that hour and a half, getting up at 5:30 before I even get to work. So I really encourage you, if you're thinking, I don't have time to do things, I'm hoping this will give you some ideas for your own routine. What I'm gonna do now is have a shower and get changed, and then go about the rest of my day, and I will show you how I continue to sharpen the saw and keep things in mind and check off my habits up until I go to sleep. I head to Aldi to get myself some food for lunch. I'm not what I would call a good cook. I think it's probably a bit of a stretch to call me a cook at all. I'd probably describe myself as a basic preparer of food. For lunch today, I decided to have some baked potatoes and chicken. In terms of nutrition and eating in a way that sharpens the saw, I try to eat foods that are not highly processed. Where I can, I try to eat whole foods. And whole foods are foods that resemble how they are found in nature. Whilst the kinds of food that I eat are important, the amounts are important as well. It's easy to eat a lot of healthy foods and gain weight, which is not my goal at the moment. Tracking my macros gives me a focus for the day to ensure that I'm giving my body enough fuel to do what it needs to do, but not too much that it will lead to weight gain. I'm about to sit down and eat my lunch when I notice that my meal doesn't have a lot of color, so I decide to add some fruits and vegetables to make it a bit brighter. I've found an easy way to eat healthier is to make your plate as colorful as possible, but using whole foods whenever you can. Because I've added some fruits and vegetables to my meal, I need to update my app, which is one of the downsides to tracking your macros. It can make you a bit obsessive about food. I find it gets me great results, but I only do it for a few months at a time. It really is a great way to understand how your body works and how it processes different foods. Every day, I try to spend some time doing something creative, so I sit down and edit this very video you are watching now. I also have my third bottle of water for the day. So I wanted to spend some time talking about the heart dimension of the sharpen the saw habit. You may have seen in some of my screen recordings earlier that I have 3 tasks assigned to the heart dimension, and those are 3 separate emotional bank accounts that I have with the 3 key people in my life. And what I'm trying to do each and every day is to be more intentional and considered about how I'm increasing the emotional bank account that I have with them. And if you're not familiar with the emotional bank account, that measures the amount of trust that you have in a relationship. Every time you do something to strengthen the amount of trust in the relationship, you're making a deposit in that emotional bank account. And if you do something to lessen the amount of trust in that relationship, that's obviously a withdrawal. And so every day I try to focus on doing something to increase trust. And if I make a mistake, which I often do, I make sure that I reflect on that, and if necessary, I apologize. I wanted to show you a really practical way that I'm being more intentional about connecting with my daughter Claire in particular. I've bought a small notebook, and the idea is that we take it in turns writing a letter to each other using the page in the notebook. It's the final bottle for the day. It's now dinner time, and I sit down to eat some more potatoes, a steak and a salad. Lately I've been eating a lot of potatoes and am still losing weight. Today I've literally eaten 1 kilogram of potatoes, but it fits my macros, so that's all good. I'm tracking days that I don't drink alcohol. I'm not against alcohol, but today I decide to save my calories for a small amount of dark chocolate that I plan on eating later tonight. I've now successfully hit my macros for the day, so I can check that off in streaks. Normally I listen to a podcast when I'm riding my bike to work in the mornings, but because I'm home alone tonight, I decide to listen to a podcast whilst I'm eating dinner. This allows me to check off the final habit in streaks, which gives me a perfect score for the day. I don't think it will provide you with any value to show you what I do to relax, because I think that's pretty easy for most people to get right, but I'm hoping that this video has given you some ideas on how you can renew yourself on a daily basis. Whilst this video is focused on the things that I have learnt from the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People book, I have another video with 5 books that I recommend for HR business partners, which will also be helpful for other professionals. So make sure you check that one out. Thanks again for taking the time to watch, and I hope you have a powerful day.